Greetings and salutations, fellow pioneers. We're back for part 3. So last time we conquered our PTSD, PTCD, and now we're going to go ahead and get a couple of extra pieces of housekeeping done so that we can go and start our main build. So for our main build, I am going to need a few things, and I'm definitely going to need blueprints. Blueprints are fun. We also went ahead and set up our dimensional depot, and someone kind of pointed out in the comments in the last video, well, it's great you've set it up, but you've got none of the basics hooked up. And absolutely right, thanks for the comment, because if you don't have the basics set up, it's a lot more complicated to start main mega builds, which is what we're doing today. So we're going to run through here at the start, just show you a couple of housekeeping chores that need to be done before the main build can start, and then we'll move to the main build. Well, we've started unlocking blueprints, so let's go ahead and finish that first. And 10 minutes later,
milestone reached. Blueprints reduce repetitive building tasks, further optimizing your progression towards saving Earth, with its beautiful ecosystems, abundant natural resources, and sunsets over frolicking puppies and kittens. The blueprint designer allows you to build and combine structures once and then duplicate that configuration effortlessly. Any complaints about the spatial restrictions will only reveal your own inefficiencies.
I'm beginning to think Ada got hurt by somebody. Always talking about puppies, always talking about kittens, always aggressive to a certain male pioneer. Picture's becoming clear. Alright, so we have the blueprints done. I want to go ahead and focus, I think, next on Mercer-spheres. So let's go on a Mercer-spheres. Mercer-sphere, sphere rev, Mercer-sphere hunt. There's one.
Live, laugh, consume. This is a shrine to windows and weaving. The effigy has no song, only echoes, but is part of a river. Why does the effigy avoid the windows?
Attention! Your brain's operations are outside typical parameters. Time spent daydreaming will be deducted from your sustenance budget.
Look through the window and witness a thread. The effigies ripples through our temples, our veins nearly touch. It is shy, notes shall be taken and played.
From a certain perspective, your brain looks like it is processing language, but there is no auditory data. If you are hearing voices that are not mine, this is no cause for concern. It is a common side effect of extreme pressure and stress.
So according to Ada, I am under extreme stress, which, given that I am trying to, come here BC, I'm trying to do this without dying at all as one of my side quests. While I was out Mercer-sphere hunting, I came across 2 quartz nodes. And quartz, particular silica, is actually going to be fairly important to the final build. Not just in terms of some of the things I'm going to actually be building quartz for, but in terms of some of the aesthetics I have planned. What I like about quartz is you build 2 things. So you've got quartz crystals right there, and you got silica. And you don't need to go ahead and use smelters. You can just convert them straight away. So obviously I'm not going to be using it straight away. But what I am going to do is I'm going to split the construction here. I'm going to have half of what's produced go into a sink. Start working on more coupon tokens. And I'm going to put the other half, come on, dirt. I'm going to put the other half into depots to go ahead and load in preparation. So let's go ahead and finish this up. And I made sure that I did have enough when I came across this. So as long as I haven't miscalculated, which we all know I do manage to do occasionally, then I should be able to set this up and then carry back on my Mercer Sphere hunting. Let's put that there. Right, that should be producing. Then mergers. Get it into a merger. As I said, we'll split it up then. We'll have half loading into a depot and half loading into the sink. Alright, I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Just realised, quartz means I can unlock Blade Runners. Yep. Let's go grab what we need here. Blade Runners are awesome. Definitely one of the first things I usually try and unlock, so I'm surprised it took me that long to remember. Alright, well, let's learn about Blade Runners.
Blade Runners unlocked. Equipped to run faster, jump with greater force, and decrease fall damage that might otherwise have lowered your value to fix it.
Thank you for that masterful summary, Ada. Alright, let's get back to finishing up this setup. Oh, beasties. I'll build the Blade Runners in just a second. So I survive the late beastie attack. Come here, come here. Alright, I'll be back when this is finished. Here's in all its glory. 6 constructors, 3 going into one storage, 3 going into the other, loading into depots, and then going into a sink. Right, I'm on my way back. I've got my Blade Runners, you can hear them as I jump there. I've got my parachute, and the 2 combined are going to speed me right up. So let's go see what's next to do here. I don't think this is going to be a shock to any of you, but I'm running out of power, so I need to deal with that right now.
Milestone reached. The Miner Mark II allows extraction of resources from nature to fix it at twice the speed of the Mark I model. Miners can be directly upgraded to Mark II without removing the Mark I model, just like conveyor belts and other upgradable infrastructure. Unfortunately, setting up the production of advanced steel parts and project part number 3, automated wiring, will not be as easy. Every moment you delay reduces the chances of saving humanity. I will not show you the predictions, it would only demotivate you.
So Ada's positive feedback aside, the reason I went for advanced steel parts here is I need to use miner 2s. Currently I'm running 5 coal power stations, I need to double that to 10, and for that I need obviously more coal. I don't want to go find more coal and run a nice long snake all the way across the world to power those 10, so double the coal output via the miner 2s, that should increase my power so that I'm ready for the main build. So let's go on over there and see what the situation is. Alright, let's see how the power is looking currently. Oh yeah, I'm dipping in, so I definitely need to go ahead and put some more in. So we'll go over to the stations, put the Mark 2s on. Beasties. Put the Mark 2s in, and then we'll go ahead and find a spot and build 5 more stations, I think. You know what, the water there and that little bit of flat space might be worth it. I might try that spot. Alright, 1 to miner 2. It's a good place for the other miner 2. Alright, so I did actually use that spot to build the 5 coal power stations, taking me to 10. I've also gone ahead and checked the belts to make sure that all of the coal flown from the 2 miner 2s can go ahead and fit on the belt. We're actually producing more coal than we need right now, so I'm going to put down this storage unit. and collect the excess coal, and then that way we have a buffer further down the line. Right. Excellent, that's flowing properly. We've got tier 3 belts all the way through. Let's have a look at the power here a minute. It's looking okay, but it's dropped again. Probably I've just started the coal running. Yeah, that's why. Coal's still going ahead and filling up the stations. Alright, that looks a little better now. Alright, let's go collect one or two other things, head back, and let's go ahead and finally start on the main build. Alright everyone, we are finally there. We've got all of the essentials. Collected a whole load of burst spheres and built depots and all the major collection areas. We have enough power coming in. We've unlocked the BP designer, so I'm going to go ahead and collect the materials I need for that. And we're ready to go to the spot of the mega build, the very beginning of all of these hours that we have put in. Collecting all of this stuff, setting up these mini factories, everything has led up to this. Everything until now has been temporary. Now we go ahead and we start the real thing. So let's head on over. And here we are. Here is the starting point, the basis. This is where we're going to build the very first part of the mega factory. And we're going to build it up high. So to build it up high, I'm going to need to be able to obviously get up to the height I want to build in. And yeah, I can use ramps. But what I really need to do is go ahead and get something to allow me to climb up and down, at least until a bit later when I could potentially fly. I don't want to use all my coupons on the elevator, so I'm going to go use that, I think, on the ladder.
Fun fact: architecture was invented when people began building buildings. If it had been invented slightly beforehand, perhaps more old buildings would still be around. Humanity sometimes lacks vision.
No vision lacking here, Ada. Alright, so let's go deal with this beastie. This is probably the most critical part of my entire playthrough, right here, right what I'm about to work on now. Which might explain why it took 2 attempts to pick that up. So, my vision is not to go ahead and have anything touching the ground other than the structural supports. But the June Desert is undulating, meaning that it is at different heights, obviously, throughout. So I need to go ahead and not only establish the correct height for this build, because this is going to be the lowest point. Nice. So this part of the build is going to contain the lowest height. And not only do I want to go ahead and make sure I'm at the correct height, but I want to make sure that as the build progresses, I'm not going to be hampered by any hills, any rocks, anything like that. So if I can move it, then great, doesn't matter right now. If I can't move it, then it could potentially spoil what I have in mind here, the grand plan. It's looking that way, we should be good all the way to the trees over there. Looking this way, obviously we've got the space elevator, but we know we can move that. I think I probably... Can I alter? Do I want to alter? I'm trying to figure out whether I want to alter the angle. I think I'm okay here. Too low down, I'm going to clunk those hills over there. Right, so let's go up a few more. Let's just check the height up there. Alright, so we're clear on the left there. We're clear on the right. Again, the space elevator will go. What about height-wise? Yeah, height-wise I think we are clear here. And again, we'll probably be going higher. Alright, yep. I think this is the spot. Let's put a ladder. Well, probably need to delete a few of these things first. So this is my spot. Okay, so now that I have the height correct, I'm basically building and mapping out the area for the first part of my build, which is the smelters. So what I have in mind is going to need 8 plots that are 7 wide and a certain length. I haven't worked out the length yet. So I need to make sure that I can fit that in. There's a master blueprint in my mind that I'm working from. So what I'm doing here at the moment is just mapping out the edge of where I can build on widthwise on one side. Then once I've done that, I will measure out the space going all the way to the other side, make sure that I have room. So I'll come back in a couple of minutes when I've got the mapping done and show you what that looks like. Okay, so we've got everything mapped out now. It was a tight fit, but we managed it. We've got 8 rows of 7 blocks with a gap in the middle. And again, it was a tight fit, but we got it in there. So now we're going to work out the length. And the way we're going to work out the length is we are going to go ahead and use the blueprint designer to set up the default smelter layout that we are going to use throughout this entire area. So let's build a blueprint designer, and first of all let's go ahead and get the modular frames, and then we can build the blueprint designer. So I'll be back in a minute once that is ready. Alright, take 2. There we are.
Once you have built a satisfactory blueprint, interact with the Blueprint Designer terminal to save it. It will then be available in the Blueprints tab of your build menu. Blueprints can always be edited to correct mistakes or optimize. If you find yourself struggling to work within the set size restrictions, remember that this is a you problem, and efficiency can always be improved.
Alright, thank you Ada for those positive words of wisdom. Blueprints, my friends. Blueprints are probably the most important, useful feature within this game. Even better than dimensional depots. Blueprints allow you to have and build a modular factory. So what do I mean by that? I mean you can go ahead and build specific sections of your factory, save them as a blueprint, and then effectively copy and paste your factory time and time again as you need it. What I'm trying to do here is work out the layout for a modular smelter factory. This is the smallest of the blueprint designers. Very, very tight, fitting everything in that I want to do. I think eventually I want 10 to 12 smelters in this blueprint. I've got to go ahead and find a way to make the space work. And the reason I'm doing it, 1, time saving, 2, efficiency for Ada. I want to, once I make sure that the blueprint design is flawless, I can just go ahead and copy and paste it. And we're talking, what, 4, 8, 16, 32 potential copy and paste here, I believe, for this design that I'm working on. The other reason is, when you go ahead and upgrade belts in this game, it's one of my pet peeves, you have to go ahead and upgrade every single belt. Get this set. And actually I think I've worked out the confines here. So now all I need to do is get the smelters correct on either side, on the left and the right, like so. And then have a central collection side. There we go. Alright, and now I'll just delete that and reposition it, and we're good to go. So, what I'm saying, pet peeve, is anytime you upgrade belts, you have to do each one individually. There's not a tool that allows you to area effect upgrade. So the way I get around this is I use blueprints. Because what it means is when I get that upgrade, all I have to do is upgrade 2 or 3 blueprints with the new belts, delete the old blueprints that were already laid down, and replace them with the new ones. Alright, so good, we can fit 6 in here. Big time saver and a big efficiency when it comes time for those upgrades. Spaced right, there we go. Alright, so I'm kind of getting distracted here talking to you all while trying to get this laid out properly. So I'm going to go ahead, pause here, and I'll come back when the blueprint is done and complete. Alright, and we are done. 6 smelters on either side. Let's go ahead and save the BP design. You want to make sure you save it. I can't tell you how many times I've built this fantastic BP creation, and then I went ahead and forgot to save it, got rid of the blueprint designer, and then I'm like, where's my blueprint gone? And we're going to set it up. There we go. Alright, let's just make sure that I did save it correctly. My blueprint tab, and there she is. Awesome. Alright, so if we clear the blueprint designer now, and we can figure out the length layout here. So it needs to be in the middle. It's going to go in the middle, which for round 7 is going to be 4, which is about there. Submit. Use H to nudge it in place. Looks good. Alright. And then I need the shop. Where's the shop? I'm missing a piece. Where is it? I need the hole in the floor. So what I'm going to do is, once the blueprints are... there it is. Once the ingots are made, I'm going to...
As Fixit amply demonstrates, you can never have too much management.
Thanks, Ada. There she is, and I want to put her on number 5. There we go. Alright, so yes, we're going to have all of the ingots. The ore's going to flow down the sides. It's going to be turned into ingots in the smelters, and it's going to flow down the central hub, and then we're going to have it come out underneath. So let's work out the length here, and once I've got the first row done, I'll be back and I'll show you what this looks like. And here is the first finished row. So you've got 2 big storage units that is going to accept all of the ore coming in. It's going to come from underneath. Got to set that piece up. And then it's going to flow down into the smelters. The first 2 sections are going to flow from the bottom row, and then the 3rd and 4th section, the ore flowing down, is going to transfer from the top row into the bottom row. So that's 48 smelters, all of them connected, and then every 6 rows, the completed ingots are going to flow down to a belt to be created underneath, where it will flow into its storage. So that's 1 section done. 7 more to go. And here's the finished layout. So you have 4 entire sections devoted to incoming iron ore, 192 smelters, and then another 192 smelters that are going to accept incoming copper ore. There is room to accept incoming ore underneath. Probably going to need about 16 miners to produce all of this ore. And then what I'm going to have to do is build the inputs underneath to go ahead and load the ore and bring in the ingots and store them in the storage area that I have in mind. But we're going to save that for the next episode because that was a lot. So next episode we'll do that. We'll show you the storage unit, we'll build all the miners, and then we'll start talking about how we're going to lay out the next section, which is the constructor factory that is going to replace this temporary factory down here. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave it here as stated. We're going to float on over, and yeah, the next episode we're going to finish up the smelters, we're going to build the storage area, and then we're going to make a start on the constructor side. And very soon we'll hopefully go and complete this phase of the space elevator, and that really is when the fun begins. So thanks for watching, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you on the next one. This is Rev, signing off.